Welcome to a space where we talk about life, death, and legacy, because your final chapter matters just as much as your first. If this is your first time here, I'm glad you found this space, and if you've been with me for a while, you already know. This is where we keep it real about wealth, mortality, and the stuff nobody teaches us growing up. Now, today, we're talking about something that wrecks more dreams, relationships, and legacies than most anything else: the belief that we've got more time. Time to fix it, time to start, time to say the thing. But here's the thing: most people don't run out of money, they run out of time. And by the time they realize it, it's already too late. So let's talk about the biggest psychological trap we fall into and how to break free from it before someday becomes never. Because most people don't realize you've been lied to, not by the media, not by your family, but by your own brain. It tells you, I'll get to it later. I'll start that thing after things settle down. I'll record that message when I feel more ready. But time doesn't care about your to do list. It doesn't send a warning. And I've seen what happens when time runs out. And trust me, families don't just grieve the loss of a person, they grieve the things that they never got to say, the decisions never made, that conversation that never happened. And that brings me to a story that'll stick with me forever. I'll tell you about a man I work with. His name was Marcus. He came into my office 3 years ago after his mom had passed. He looked exhausted, holding a folder in one hand, tears coming out of his eyes. And when he opened the folder, he said, she called this her legacy plan. But inside, nothing: no will, no letters, no instructions. And she had talked about planning this for years. She wanted to write letters to each of her kids, record a message for her grandkids, even pick out the songs for her funeral. But she kept saying, I'll get to it soon. And then she didn't. So now Marcus is here guessing, and he's hoping he got it right. But you could see in his face, he didn't think he did. And he wasn't just grieving her death, he was grieving the silence she left behind. And that part breaks my heart, because this all could have been avoided. All it would have taken was a 30-minute conversation. But she thought she had more time. And that mindset, that's exactly what we need to talk about. This belief that we'll get around to it. It's just not procrastination. It's a psychological occurrence called temporal discounting. Basically, your brain values short term comfort more than long term peace. So instead of having the tough conversation, we answer emails. Instead of planning our legacy, we scroll. Instead of recording that video for our kids, we watch the episode. It doesn't mean we're bad people. We're just wired to avoid discomfort. And if you're a high achiever, it gets even sneakier, because success buys you options. And these options create the illusion that you'll always have time. But let me hit you with this: time isn't like money. You can always make more money, but once time is gone, it's gone. And every time we delay, that's taking out a debt we may never get to repay. Think of it like this: every time you say, I'll do it later, you're borrowing time you haven't earned yet. That's called time debt. And unlike credit card debt, you don't get a statement in the mail. You just quietly lose everything you meant to do. That trip, never booked. The apology, never said. That legacy video, still not recorded. And by the time you realize it, the balance is due and you can't pay it back. Time debt is the most expensive kind of debt you'll ever carry. And the worst part, most people don't realize they're bankrupt until it's too late. But there's good news: you don't have to live like this. Let me show you what people who actually get it right do differently. The people who leave behind peace and not puzzles, they treat legacy like a lifestyle, not a last-minute chore. Here's what they do differently. 1. They make decisions now before they're forced to. 2. They record a message or write letters to their family. 3. They choose their power of attorney and actually tell that person so they know who they are. They write down their wishes, even if it's just in a notes app. And they treat time like a non-renewable resource that it is. They don't say, I'll do it when I get older, I'll do it later. They say, if I love them, I'll do it now. That mindset, that changes everything. But even with that mindset, there's still one emotional trap that catches most people off guard. See, we don't just avoid planning because we're lazy. We avoid it because it makes us face our mortality. And that's hard. It's scary. But I've met with hundreds of families, and I'll tell you this: the real regret isn't dying, it's dying with unfinished business. The story only you knew, the moist veil you never recorded, the message that never made it to your kids. Legacy doesn't haunt people, silence does. So let's talk about it, and let's make it simple. All right, your legacy challenge, should you choose to accept it. Step one: choose one thing you've been putting off: writing that letter, picking an executor, starting your legacy video, or talking to your parents about their plan. Step two: take one action step in the next 24 hours. It doesn't have to be perfect, it just has to start. And step three: drop it in the comments, tell me what you did, because when you name it, you own it. And I read every comment. And hey, if your legacy is moving to Bali, writing your memoir in a hammock, send me that invite. So, I'll leave you all with this. One day you'll wake up and there won't be any more laters left. No more when I have time. No more after things calm down. No more someday. And when that day comes, only one question will matter: did you actually live while you had the time? You're capable. You're worthy. And your story, it deserves to start before the ending shows up. So start today. Drop a comment. Tell me one thing you've been putting off. Hit like if this gave you the nudge you needed. Subscribe for more real talk about wealth, mortality, and shaping your legacy. Because you don't get a second chance at a better ending. See you in the next one.